In today's video, we are going to be discussing my update 2024 governor prediction as of today, May 24th of 2022. But before we get right into today's prediction, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, call a few friends to subscribe as well because I've been losing subscribers recently, so help me gain back the subscribers I lost. But without further ado, let's get right into today's prediction. Starting with the safe Democratic states, we have California, Hawaii, the state of New York, the state of Massachusetts, and the state of Maryland, giving the Democrats a total of 11 safe seats, including the seats that are not up for re-election. The Republicans have Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, the state of Vermont, and the state of New Hampshire. Vermont and New Hampshire are safe, especially the state of Vermont is a state Democratic state, but both of these states do have Republican governors. So right now speaking, the Republicans have an edge of 90 seats to Democrats 11. Now going to the likely Democratic states, I start off with the state of Oregon. Oregon went to Kate Brown by a margin of 6.4 percentage points. Not the most impressive margin for a Democrat in the state of Oregon, but again, she is probably going to win by about a margin of 5 to 6 points yet again. The next state will be the state of Colorado. I do have the Democrats winning here by a likely margin because Polis won by over 10 points last election, so she should be able to win in the state of Colorado. Looking at the next state here, Illinois, I think that J.B. Pritzker's popularity has decreased a little bit, and the national environment does help the Republican Party, but it looks like that in the end, J.B. Pritzker will easily hold on. The state of Rhode Island will also be likely Democrat. I don't think it's going to be super safe, but Rhode Island is Rhode Island. It will be a likely margin for the Democratic Party. So for the Republican Party, I have the state of Alaska. As one of the likely states, I think Alaska always votes for the Republicans. I don't think it's going to be the safest of our margins, but likely will be a good margin for the state of Alaska. Now going to the state of Kansas, we have one flip here. The Democrats have flipped Massachusetts and Maryland. Both of those states have retiring Republican incumbent governors. Maryland, Larry Hogan's not allowed to run again. Massachusetts, the Republicans are likely going to nominate another candidate, so Charlie Baker could decide to just drop out. But for the state of Kansas, the Democratic incumbent is running in that race, but she's not going to win because Kansas is a pretty Republican state. And looking at the state of Kansas, Chris Kobach was just a terrible candidate, and there was Greg Orman, another conservative candidate who split away some percent of the vote. If all those votes went to Chris Kobach, he would have also been able to win this race. So this should be a likely Republican seat by about 8 or 9 points. Texas should go to Greg Abbott as well. But Beto O'Rourke has been much more liberal in a lot of issues such as guns and things like that. That's not going to help him in the state of Texas. Also, the national environment is just not going to help him in Texas. Iowa, Ohio, both of those states are going to be likely Republican. Ohio might want to survive that primary. Iowa, the incumbent here, who is Kim Reynolds, is also likely going to survive their primaries. There were lean margins last election, but I do think they'll be likely this election given the national environment and the trends in both of those states. The final Republican likely state will be the state of Florida, which does give the Republicans half of the National Governors Association, so they are much more than likely going to win the majority. In the state of Florida, Ron DeSantis is very popular, going to be able to easily win in the state of Florida. Now, for the Democratic Party here, they don't really have a lot. Their lean states, I don't think there's honestly a lot of lean states for them. I think the first state that comes to my mind is the state of Connecticut. Connecticut with Ned Lamont is probably going to vote for Lamont by about 3-4 points, just like last election. He has been slightly more popular. That being said, the national environment also is hurting the Democratic Party, so they will win by likely about 3 or 4 points. Now, going to the next lean Democratic state, we don't actually have any more, but we do have lean Republican states. Now for the first lean Republican state, I will be characterizing that state as Arizona. Carol Lake, a pretty extreme candidate for the Republican Party, though she is going to easily win this election, given that the national environment is just very atrocious for the Democratic Party. It does look like the Democrats are slightly rising in 538, but that does not indicate that much. Especially 5 months after the Roe v. Wade decision, voters are just not going to remember that as they do right now. The next leading Republican state is the state of Wisconsin, with the incumbent there being Tony Evers. Tony Evers right now is just not doing too well. He only won by 1.1 points against the Republican incumbent in that race previously. And look at this, Rebecca Cleavish is just super likely going to end up unseating him. It's right now about a 90 to 10 chance in favor of Rebecca Cleavish. The next state will be the state of Pennsylvania. Now, looking at the last election, Tom Wolf, the incumbent governor from the state of Pennsylvania, actually won by 17.1 percentage points. That being said, the Republican Party can nominate did not nominate the strongest candidate, but Tom Wolf is forced to retire because in Pennsylvania you can only serve, I believe, if I'm correct, 2 terms. So he has already served 2 terms, now it's his chance to leave here. And I'm actually going to move that down to tilt because Doug Mastriano is not the best candidate, but I think he'll be able to win regardless. Going to the state of Georgia, I do have that as a lean state for the Republican Party. I think that Brian Kemp is likely going to hold on to that primary. The primary is actually happening just today, but I'd be covering the primary here, but in the state of Georgia, I do have Brian Kemp winning in the state of Georgia because of the national environment. Now, for the final states, these are all tilt states. Let's start with the first one of these tilt states, the state of Nevada, which I do have going to the Republican Party, as the incumbent Steve Sisolak only won by 4.1 percentage points, and in such an environment, you know it's likely going to go Republican. But in New Mexico, it's still a deep blue state, although the incumbent there, Michelle Lujan Grisham, had some scandals. She won by 14.4%. Even with the national environment, even with her candidate quality, it's still likely going to retain for her very narrowly. In the state of Minnesota, I do have the Democrats winning. The last election, Tim Walz won by 11.4 percentage points. Based off that margin, I think that he'll be able to narrowly hold on to this race. Especially in 2020, Joe Biden also won the state by 7 percentage points, so do keep that in mind. That being said, for the state of Michigan, I do have Gretchen Whitmer losing this race, as you might expect. Gretchen Whitmer is not the strongest incumbent. A lot of lockdowns is not going to help her in her re-election, and just based on the national environment, I think Gretchen Whitmer will lose. That being said, Janet Mills, I think, will end up holding on against Paul LePage. This will also be a pretty close race, but in the end, I do have the Democrats winning the state of Maine. Paul LePage is a very good candidate, in my opinion, but although the year is pretty good for him, and LePage was also the former governor of the state, and he won by 2 elections ago, I just don't think that he'll be able to win yet again. So thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Also, as I said earlier, invite some friends to my channel and watch more of my videos. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.